New York City's today we showed the full range of emotions. The front office guys are exactly the ones to talk about it. Let's do that right now. I just want to say, before I bring on my partner, at Samuel LaChow, my guy Sam, today the Nets fans went through a full range of emotion. It started in the morning with shock, right? We were fine when we went to sleep last night. We had questions from the last game. It didn't look good for us. Our defense looks horrendous. We don't look good against young teams. But we were okay. We were like, all right, KD comes back the next game. You know, we live to fight another day. And when we woke up this morning and the flawless investigation by Mr. Worldwide Wob, I thought, one, that was a pretty good piece of journalistic work. I was impressed. Like, he actually takes you through his process of breaking down how you can't even defend Kyrie after watching that video. The only thing I would say about the video is that it looks like it was just his family and it was just a small group at his sister's birthday party. It doesn't look like it was like, you know, a massive amount of people. It just looks like it was their family. My opinion on it, but doesn't matter. Because the real message that this video from Kyrie Irving was sending to us was, I don't even give a fuck. Like, I think people had the wrong viewpoint in this, Sam, in the sense of they thought he was somewhere, you know, crying in his pillow. They thought Kyrie is dealing with some mental or emotional issues or a disorder of some kind, and he needs some mental health days. And I think Nets fans were 100% behind him in looking, you know, at him taking some time off for himself. So now when we come to what we saw today, it just showed that it was more so, it made it look like, and I can't say that it's true, and I really can't indict the man until we hear from him. He still has to have a side of the story. The story looks bad. It looks bad, but we still got to hear from him before we truly indict him. But it doesn't matter, good or bad. Today it felt painful. It felt like what we were dreaming of was impossible. And the core message of what happened today, of what we saw on the basketball court, it's deeper than the Nets beat the Denver Nuggets. It's deeper than that. Because we came into this game disheartened. That's real. Like, we moped into this game, like bitched and moaned and complained into this game because it don't look good right now for the Nets. And somehow, some way, Kevin Durant made all of the happenings, all of the banter from the Knicks fans, all of the think pieces from the national media on how wrong things are at the Brooklyn Nets. And I know things aren't right. I know that things aren't right. But when you have Kevin Durant, when you have someone who is in the conversation for having his mug on the Mount Rushmore of basketball, when you have that guy, you're able to hide a lot of sins. And I just want to say how I am appreciative of the fact that I think for Nets fans, for Nets staff, for Knicks fans talking shit, I think they should look at this game versus a very good Denver Nuggets team, the team that went to the Western Conference Final and has two very special players. The Brooklyn Nets beat them. And it changed the Nets culture outlook on the team. Tell me why I'm wrong, Sam.
No, I mean honestly, I actually think you're spot on. I will be very honest with the loyal front office listeners. I messaged you like sometime in the second quarter, and was as about defeated as I've been, and I've been a Nets fan since I was 5 or 6 years old, and I was just like the combo of everything going on with Kyrie, the team not playing well, the Dinwiddie injury honestly has gotten me more bummed of late, and
we went from shock to downtrodden. Like we were burnt as a community.
I was burnt. Like I mean, this is coming from the same kid who freshman year of college is refreshing Twitter every 6 seconds to see if the Nets are getting Dwight Howard. So like I've been through the ringer on this stuff, but there was something about the way that the combo of the expectations of this season, how the first 2 games went, and everything after that, from the Dinwiddie injury and now this like Kyrie fiasco, which like I'm gonna give my 2 cents on that because I think I should, but I don't really want to harp on it because I think as you eloquently put, like there's not a ton to really say. Like all I'll say is like the optics do not look great at all, but I think like it's hard to comment on. And I think this is the type of thing where you're going to look much better when you make your when you make your closing statement about this, once we know everything going on, as opposed to speculating right now. Cause I just don't think that much good comes out of speculating. But to go for a full circle to what you said, to transition to me, I mean, the performance that KD had from beginning to end, and you could tell that he really wanted this game, and maybe it had to do with Kyrie, maybe it had to do with like him reminding everybody he's still back. Maybe it has to do with the fact that he doesn't think that Jokic should be in the MVP conversation as much as he is. I don't know what it was, but you could tell from the beginning, and I think it actually played into the amount of turnovers he had. Like he was trying to put his stamp on this game. Like no doubt about it. Was trying to make the home run pass a lot, which like honestly he's good enough and he has the best vision on the team that it's hard to even get that upset about his turnovers, because so many of his like honestly he makes so many hockey assists and just normal assists that are incredible. But look, I mean this was the type of game, and I think on a lot of these podcasts we all we will end up saying fairly hyperbolic statements. I'm guilty of it as much as anyone. This was the type of game where it felt like, oh, they're down 15 or 17 in the second quarter or third quarter. Like they're going to lose by 32, and we're going to see extended Reggie Perry minutes in no time. And the way that they turned it around was awesome, and I truly think it is a absolutely massive win for everything that was going on. I think it says a ton about the team, especially coming off the Thunder game, which was a disgrace.
No, Ed, look, does the team have a lot of flaws? Yes. Did this game reveal a lot of the team's flaws? Yes. We let them score 70 and a half. That we can't forget that part. And the other thing is, they didn't just have to be good; they had to be otherworldly. This is the highest field goal percentage that Denver has given up in in over a decade. The Nets, what they did tonight was historic offense, and their defense is horrendous. We can't hide from that. We can't not talk about that. Their defense is horrendous, but at the same time, their offense, everybody shot over 50%. So it's hard to have bad feelings towards what they were able to accomplish. Like, do you see the flaws, or am I being nitpicky?
No, I totally see the flaws. I just think for the purpose of this podcast and for this game, I almost think that like talk about the defense is just not as it just to me it doesn't have the same weight as it would in like the kind of the back-to-back Hawks games we spoke about and whatnot, because like this game to me was so much more than that. Like this was the type of game where like you got to imagine like the players are living this. We're just watching it unfold on Twitter and on and on the Yes Network. Like I can't imagine it's fun going into the year like thinking you have championship expectations. Dinwiddie's out for the year, who's like somewhat of the heart and soul of the team, and Kyrie, who's been talking the talk about and even walking the walk for a lot for the summer and the season so far about how happy he is and all that stuff. And he decided the Pooch report said that he decided right before that Sixer game, he was like, I'm just not going to play. And now it seems like more things are leaking out here and there. And so because of that, I'm honestly just so happy that they won. And I think it's awesome that there's basically been this consistent trend where they basically have beaten all the good teams and lose to the bad. And I think it's much easier to fix the latter than the former. And
No,
yeah,
that's the take you have to have. I mean, that's a mature and grown up take, Sam. But I don't think it's I also don't think it's irrational to look at the situation and go, the young teams beat them for a reason.
Yep.
The young teams beat them, because this team, the Nets, aren't very athletic. They're not very physical. The teams that are prepared to win right now, and they're not trying to bang in the beginning of a season. They're saving that for the playoffs. But these young bad teams that all they want to do is make a name for themselves. They know they're not making the postseason. Well, shoot, OKC looks like they're going to make the postseason. And not only are they going to make the postseason, but they're going to have more high draft picks. It's incredible what Sam Presti has pulled off. And to start it off with a player like, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But nonetheless, back to this game, I said in a tweet that Bruce Brown did not look like a NBA player. I mean, to a certain degree, he proved me wrong, but at the same time, the Nets, they scored 174 points on the Nets. I know that theoretically he clamped down. I guess he's responsible for taking away Denver's point guard, but I just see a very limited player. I don't see. I see something. The level of play is so far from Spencer Dinwiddie that I think it's just too much pressure on Kevin Durant to do all the scoring. Am I tripping? Am I being a Debbie Downer?
No, I mean I agree with you. I think once I get over this high from this game, I think it's beyond clear that the Nets are going to have to get some daylight about what's going on with Kyrie, and at a certain point they're going to have to start making like decisions as if he like is not part of it. I mean, I think the